Sonia, would you introduce our guest speaker?
Yes, be my honor. So I'm very pleased to welcome Dr. Mueller and Mr. Doug Nelson from the Outreach Foundation. Their organization is located in Franklin, Tennessee. And I've seen on their website, Dr. Mueller's been with the Outreach Foundation since 2018. He served as the executive director since 2020. Doug, who's joining us, he serves as the Latin America and Africa specialist. They both have such a great wealth of experience in mission around the world and equipping churches to support those missions. So we're so pleased to have you here with us tonight, and we'll hear from you now, and then we'll take a few minutes for a little question and discussion before we move on with our meeting. So thanks again for joining us, and I'll pass the mic over to you all.
All right. Thank you. Thank you, Sonia. We're delighted to be with each of you. Greetings from the Outreach Foundation. As it's already been said, we're based in Franklin, Tennessee. That's where I'm speaking to you. I'm just going to do a brief intro. You probably know some of this, and then Doug's going to get into specifics in terms of Africa and Latin America. Doug has been on the board of the Outreach Foundation for a good number of years, and then he joined us as a specialist now in Latin America. I've traveled with Doug a lot to a lot of places and have had a great experience with him. Outreach Foundation, again, probably from our past, you might have known us to be a little bit smaller than we are today. We've grown from, I took over in 2020. We were in 35 countries with about 60 vetted partners. Today, that total is now nearing 60 countries with over 100 vetted partners. We have new work around the globe, and it is absolutely incredible. I'm talking about working with the Gulf Bible Society in the Arab states. These would be UAE, Jordan, Oman, Yemen, Bahrain, Kuwait. I'll fly to Kuwait in April as we work closely with them. Talking about new work in Latin America. Doug was with me in Bogota, Colombia, as 25 countries met there. Very interested in our work and what we do. And again, what we do is we fuel the global work of Christ. So we don't tell these entities that we're engaged with, that we vet, how to do ministry. We fund what they find is successful ministry. So we now have new work in Central Asia because of our coming alongside the Ukraine Evangelical Theological Seminary in Kyiv. I was on the front lines in Ukraine working with the church there, just incredible stuff. In probably March, I'll be in Newark in Southeast Asia. It's just so ramping up. God has got a trajectory for us I could never have imagined. And so it's a privilege to be with churches that pull alongside and really speak of that Acts 1:8. It's ironic. I use that text as my favorite sermon to preach. You know, Jesus didn't tell the disciples to stay in Jerusalem, just take care of things there. No, he told them to go into Samaria, and really to the ends of the earth, Judea, Samaria, and to the ends of the earth. And it was a dangerous proposition if you were to think about any of those. Angry mobs were hunting those disciples down in Jerusalem. Judea had rejected Jesus's ministry. Samaria was off land. It was a land off limits to Jews, and Gentiles lived in the rest of the world. So, that was not, that was an interesting passage that you, they call you Denny. I see Denver, but Denny, way to go on that. You hit a home run. So that's us at the Outreach Foundation. We're engaging churches and individuals on a scale of, we got about 9,000, close to 10,000 individual donors, probably about 2,500 churches, and they send us the money and we send it out. We have the avenues to do it, and we trust our partners doing it. So, in the neighborhood of between $9 and $12 million a year. We get absolutely none denominational support. This is all fundraising. So we think we're fairly good at it. We've been in business I heard at a recent meeting, last 5 years, we've sent $50 million out into the world. In our 45-year history, we've sent nearly 300 million out. And it's all from generous donors, churches, individuals, whatever have you, that want to see God's work and God's name proclaimed. So Doug, take it over. And again, I want to be very sensitive to who you are as a committee. I have served on many a mission committee. I've been a pastor to many committees as well because I am a pastor in the PCUSA. So Doug, take it over.
All right, thanks, Mark. Appreciate it, and appreciate everybody's time. I'll just spend a few minutes just going through a few slides here, both on Peru, Mexico, as well as Zambia. So just kind of take a little bit of a look. One of our new partners in Latin America that just came on board a couple of months ago is a ministry called Reflejo, which is reflection in English. And they're really an interesting ministry in that they kind of have two prongs to the work that they do. Their main focus really is sending Latino missionaries to unreached people groups. So that's mainly in what we call the stands. So the Afghanistan, Tajikistan, Kazakhstan. But where we've kind of come alongside them is the work that they're doing in Lima, Peru. And it's pretty exciting. They've been using for the last year and a half the Discovery Bible Study method, which is just people getting together and kind of unpacking the Word of God together and trying to apply it to their lives. And they've been doing it in some pretty rough neighborhoods outside of Lima. Seems like the cartels have kind of gotten control of a lot of those neighborhoods, and so they were really reached out to by school principals saying, "Can you help us?" And they used the Discovery Bible Study method to really make some massive impact on both the schools, children, as well as parents. And in about a year and a half, they've now got 1,400 people involved in weekly Bible studies. They've got 156 new believers that have come to faith, and they've actually planted one church. And they're hoping they can expand this work. They've already started doing some work outside of Cusco, up in the highlands of Peru. They also want to get to Bolivia as well as Argentina. So it's kind of exciting work that they are doing. Another area that we've been in for about the past 4 years, since 2021, is partnering with the National Presbyterian Church of Mexico, headquartered in Mexico City. It's really been a fun partnership. Mark and I have been down there pretty much once or twice a year since 2021. One of their main focuses is planting churches. As you can imagine, Mexico is a fairly Catholic predominant country, but there's a lot of parts of Mexico that really don't have any evangelical presence. And so it's mainly the central and northern parts of the country. So they've been pretty active in planting churches. If you look at these pictures, the one on the upper right, it's kind of been fun. We went last February to the city of Durango, the capital of Durango state, in the central part of Mexico. And the guy in the red coat there, a guy named Julian, he's actually going to be, as an elder at the church, the one Presbyterian church in the whole state, he's actually going to be opening a new church in his Lucha Libre Mexican wrestling restaurant there on the eastern side of Durango. And then the gentleman in the green shirt, a guy named Arturo, is going to open a church in the southern part of the city. And to me, it's so exciting because they've got one church of about 70 believers, and you'd think they would just be kind of huddling together to try to survive, but they're saying, hey, in the next 4 years, we want to have 4 new churches planted, in our city. So it's kind of exciting work that they're doing. The family in the lower picture is actually in Oaxaca, down in southwestern Mexico, Oaxaca City, and it's Pastor Eliel Osorio and his wife Jessica and their 2 kids. And they actually started a ministry literally the week that COVID broke, and they had to basically be online with their ministry through social media for the first year. But they've really been targeting the next generation, and just been doing an amazing job of reaching that next generation down in Oaxaca. A couple other things that we do with the National Presbyterian Church of Mexico, we actually help them with leadership training. Their whole goal is to go presbytery by presbytery across Mexico. They've got about 900 presbyteries in the whole country, and they really want to come alongside pastors. They feel like a lot of their pastors are kind of getting a bit burnout, and they want to make sure that they're in healthy relationships with other pastors, and also that they've got elders that are trained that can help come alongside in their work. And so we've been at a number of these trainings, and they have experienced Mexican pastors doing the training. It's very interactive, and you can just see the change in the kind of the mindset and just the heart set, if you will, of the pastors and elders that go to that training. And then the last area that we're involved in is actually Bible translation. Not surprisingly, about 6% of the Mexican population actually speaks an indigenous language. So we've come alongside a couple different efforts. Up in Hidalgo, which is another central Mexican state, we actually helped to translate the Bible into Otomi. There's about 300,000 people that speak that language as their heart language. And this the lower picture in the left there is a pavilion we actually helped this tiny church in Santa Rita, Hidalgo, put together. They wanted to reach out to all the villages that surrounded them. So Mark and I went down there in May and ate a lot of lamb tamales and had a great time just christening that new pavilion. There was about 250 people that came from the surrounding countryside to attend that event. And then lastly, just talking a little bit about the work that we're doing in Africa, Zambia specifically. We've worked closely with the Church of Central Africa, the Presbyterian Church there, and with a number of different efforts. We partner with the Theological School in Chesafu, which is kind of in the far eastern part of the country near the Malawi border. And they've been training kind of the next generation of pastors for a number of years. And just recently, through our generous donors, we were able to fund some evangelism training for lay leaders. We also support the community schools that the CCAP supports. They continue to expand that program. They've got about 30 schools scattered throughout the country, supports kind of underprivileged kids, grades 1 through 7. And then lastly, we're also involved in church construction. So the denomination has really grown over the last 20 years. They're up to about 184 congregations. But 20 years ago, they had about 14. So they continue to need to build actual church buildings. And we just helped with some funding for a church about an hour outside of Lusaka in a place called Chongwei. So that's kind of a quick summary of what we're doing in Latin America as well as in Zambia specifically. So maybe I'll just open it up for questions.
We go to Peru with Misur. Where is this new area that you're working in Lima? Is it northern Lima, or where exactly is it?
It's a neighborhood called Comas.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's a little bit north of I guess Lima proper from that perspective. Yeah.
Haven't we been to Comas before?
Yes.
Gary? Yeah, we've been there.
Oh, excellent. Well, it's interesting. One of the staff members of Reflejo, she's a Peruvian, actually, strangely enough, met her at a Central Asian conference in Turkey last year. But Jessica was the one that was on their staff saying, well, we've got this need here. And there was one of her friends was a teacher at one of the elementary schools. And that's kind of how it all started. And once one principal heard about kind of the change in the students and the parents' lives, they said, hey, can you bring it to our school? So it kind of has had one of those chain reaction effects there, which is fun to see.
Yeah, that's nice. Yeah, we were just in Ica on our recent mission, medical and eyeglasses and VBS. So we are
very cool.
Yeah, we had a good time. And I think we helped a lot of people.
Excellent. That's down there kind of more down towards the desert area, correct?
Yes, we experienced a sandstorm.
Ah.
And we asked the hotel, when have you had one before? And they said, never.
Oh, wow.
Over the 25 plus years, we've been to Huaycan, Comas, San Janeiro. Gosh, what's the other two, Sally?
Oh, the flying squirrel, I can't ever pronounce that. Visha something.
Vizcachera.
Yeah, Vizcachera.
Vizcachera, and there's one more on the northern.
Oh, the place where the shining light used to be. What was the name of that?
Oh, Sendero Luminoso, yeah.
Yeah, that was Huaycan.
Oh,
Ah.
Waikana's, okay.
Mm,
Benthania is the other. So we've been to quite a few different places.
very cool. Yeah, I'm hoping to make it down there probably first quarter next year just to actually see the work down there in Comas and other neighborhoods they may have gotten into.
Hey, Doug, can you take down the screen, your
Oh,
screen
sorry, yeah,
share?
do that. Yeah.
Great.
Yeah, we also have
Well,
a worship in Sequani, Peru, which is near Cusco. So
Ah,
that's a Bible college.
funny.
Yeah,
Interesting.
that's
well,
why.
friends, we know that you've got to meet. I know what these meetings are like, and we, consider it a privilege to be able to talk with you and share some of what we're doing. I hope our paths cross. A lot going on, a lot to be engaged with in whatever fashion you deem that would be exciting to your congregation. So,
Doug, I had a question on Zambia. You've mentioned your contact with CCAP. At one time you had involvement with other denominations there, other Reformed denominations, as well as we were involved in Houston Wally in Lusaka, which of course is not CCAP,
Mhm,
but we do support Chisefu.
mhm.
But I just wondered whether you still have any involvement with any of the other activities that you used to be involved with in Zambia.
Well, I know that we're currently kind of evaluating kind of where things will go with a couple other ministries. So there was an orphanage called Namumu in Lusaka that just
Yes.
because some of the legal changes there have kind of transferred kids really kind of out of that facility into more kind of reintegration with families, relatives, or foster care. And that's also the same that's happening at the Bill and Betty Bryant crisis pregnancy center. So that's those works are kind of shifting. We're kind of evaluating kind of what our role will be like, kind of going forward.
that's actually a topic of our board meeting that we're going to have here in the end of September. The African government doesn't really want these orphans in orphanages anymore. And for the
Right.
last 5-6 years, they've been trying to move them out. And they continue to impress upon us that that is the direction that we're going. So we do have some decisions to make because the orphanages are very well supported, very well funded, and have been a very important part of the ministry there. But you do have to follow the rules and procedures placed in place by where those those orphanages are found. You can't do anything else. But
Right. We were involved in helping to actually get Namumu started, and we ran into the same problem you're talking about right now. And they're no longer one of our partners, but we still do have other partners in Zambia.
all right. Well, thank you. And again, it's a privilege to see all of you. And maybe one day our paths will cross. Doug, thank you.
Thank you all.
Thanks, everybody. Have a good rest of the evening.
Yes,
Thank you for
Thank you.
joining us.
Bendiciones.